I dropped the dumbbell on my foot and it hurts. Let's get into the fight,
That
baby.
is actually true. Last episode was great. We had some good, solid matchups. We saw some good fights, Tornado and Cyclone. Two of those bots improving to 2-0. Well, let's take a look at what we've got in episode 5. Season has been rolling. Let's see if we can keep it rolling today.
Yeah, for sure. We got some great fights for you tonight. First off, we're going to have Blindside versus Monstrosity. Pretty big fight. Could be its own main event, and we're giving it to you first. Killer Crab Complete Control, Lolo Man Ramplant, Breaker Box Abomination, Ice Wave and Seizure, and Behemoth versus Enforcer. And of course, last but not least, we're going to have Ocean Man versus Loki. And I'm going to ask my good friend Chaotic, which fight are you most excited for tonight, man?
Not Killer Crab Complete Control.
Fair enough. And immediately we're going to start out with Blindside versus Monstrosity. Now, Blindside looking very scary this season.
But still, not the start they were looking for.
Yeah, not the start they were looking for, but going up against a very solid Snowblind, you know, you can't blame them for losing almost. And this fight seems like a must-win for them, but I don't think they should have much problem with the vertical spinner of Monstrosity. They definitely win in the spinner department on this.
They definitely do have the more powerful spinner, it looks like. We'll have to see how this one goes down. Looking at Monstrosity. They lost their first match against Tornado. Their weapon didn't look too bad. It has some good power. Not the most powerful in the field, but they've got some very fast drive, and if they can use that drive to their advantage, they could do some good maneuverability to outflank and attack Blindside. But
yeah, they definitely need to outdrive Blindside in this match for sure.
Yeah, this should be an interesting match. Two powerful spinners. We'll see which one can land the better hits and can take the win and prove to 1-1.
Both bots are loaded in. Let's get this party rocking and rolling.
Big fight to start off. Ooh, and already a good collision between both spinners. And another one. We should hopefully see a lot of big hits in this match, and we're seeing a lot of relentless shots there from Monstrosity, trying to land a good shot.
Ooh, huge shot there, getting stuck on the shelf.
And that spinner looks like it might be dislodged. Ooh, there's another big shot there from Blindside, and that spinner of Monstrosity not active right now,
yeah,
and that is a bad omen for them. But
neither is Blindside.
spinner
That seemed to have gone out in that exchange.
We don't normally see Blindside spinner break like that. That is definitely a bad sign for them. But also, no spinner on Monstrosity either. It looks like we're going to a push fight.
They're still way ahead on points right now, if you ask me. So I think Monstrosity really needs to outdrive Blindside right now. Blindside spinner spinning up slowly.
But stopping. Seems like that worm gear in there might be getting a bit dislodged. But there's a good push. Ooh, but there's a good
nice little lift by the little teeth on the Blindside spinner.
First time in recorded history that Blindside has had a wedging attack. Blindside trying to get in some good pushes, but actually Monstrosity showing some good drive power so far. They definitely have the faster drive of these two, hoping that it can lead to a victory here in a very interesting match what the circumstances have led to.
Look at how bent that weapon shaft is on Monstrosity. It really goes to show when Blindside's weapon is working, at least. It's just it's no joke. But right now, I mean, without its weapon, both bots kind of just seem to be wedging around, you know?
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting. I think there is a very high possibility that this could end up going to decision, but they do have to avoid that pit. That pit is a pesky little thing, and it's definitely going to cause some issues.
Yeah, I mean, Blindside has been able to push around Monstrosity. They have better drive than we give them credit for. You know, we always just give them credit for their huge weapon, but they're, able to kind of corral around Monstrosity with that spinner.
Yeah, Monstrosity was getting some good pushes, but right now Blindside, it's kind of like a big guy trying to grab you. He has massive arms extended, which are the sides of the blades, and they just kind of let him grab and just push around Monstrosity.
Where my hug at? Yeah, for sure. I mean, Blindside just able to kind of corral, and that's what they've been doing. It seems like they're ahead on points as we near the end of this fight.
Yeah, it's very close, very tense times for both of these bots, and oh no!
And just driving.
Yeah, I can tell. You could see Monstrosity was trying to back up and then charge back in, but they hit the wall, which threw them off their course. A lot of big hits in the early part, though. This was a big shot there.
Yeah, the early goings of this fight were incredible, but
big shot there, a lot of noise, but that killed the weapon of Monstrosity. Don't know if it was from the weapon shaft bending or maybe it just got loose. Don't know. But good win there for Blindside. They had to go through and fight adversity, but they got some good pushes, and in the end, They're recovered from a rough start.
Yeah, Blindside definitely a more versatile bot than we've seen in the past. I mean, I don't think the old Blindside would have been able to win a fight without its spinner, so impressive that they were able to win that. But immediately we're going to go into Ramplan. Now, Ramplan had a pretty solid year last year. You know, not the start they wanted this season, but, you know, they beat Snowblind last year with that little spike. So Ramplan is no one to mess around with. Definitely looking to, you know, kind of bounce back against Lolo Man tonight.
Definitely. Ramplan, it's very similar to their opponent Lolo Man. Of course, just without a hinged weapon, but they have a spike. This is an interesting case where these are two robots with very similar styles of the low four-wheel drive wedge on the front. Only difference is that spike. This could be a very exciting matchup between these two. Getting to Lolo Man, they lost their first match against Enforcer off of a bait and switch maneuver, but they can definitely recover here with a win. This should be a very fun match. I'm excited to see what happens with this one.
Yeah, for sure. This should be interesting. I can see it either being really boring or really interesting. We have to see kind of how both robots play this, but let's take a look down in the box and see how it plays out.
Robots getting ready, and the fight is underway. Desperate times for both of them at 0-1 both. See which one can capitalize. Already a good little attack into the screws there, and Ramplan has lost their top plate.
Yeah, nice ram by, Lolo Man on Ramplan, so solid shots early, but a nice little lift there, trying to engage that spike in this fight.
Good utilization there by that spike by Ramplan. We didn't see a lot of action when it fought Death by the Hit. Oh, it flipped itself. That's
not what you want, dog.
Yeah, maybe fix yourself. Come on.
Give him a sec. Give him a sec.
We'll give him a minute. He might have to hurry up though, because a countdown will start if he can't figure it out.
I mean, Lolo Man kind of sitting back,
waiting, but it's slowly like a slow snail, but it's back.
Like a slow snail.
And now Ramplan back in the match, but there's a good push there by Lolo Man, wearing Ramplan as a hat and pushing it back. Ramplan trying to free itself with that arm.
To no avail, really. I mean, Ramplan, they can use that arm to great effect, but they can also use it to hurt themselves. So, you know, not really what you want so far in this fight against a smothering bot like Lolo Man. They really need to get around to those sides and get some nice pushes and try and pit them.
Yeah, right now, they've just been stuck on the head of Lolo Man for a good portion, but now they're off, and they're going to try to see if they can get some good attacks here. You get that spike into play, because they're definitely behind on points right now. They've been hung up for a good bit. Lolo Man really welcoming these exchanges so far.
Yeah, for sure. And a nice little push over there by the shelf. But again, that spike kind of just getting in Ramplan's way almost.
Yeah, they definitely have to find the opening. And great attack.
Nice push there, though.
That was a great maneuver, almost lifting them up and trying to flip them. Now they're trying to flip them again with that spike, but to no avail. Good, solid performance for both of these bots so far. A nice ram.
Little mistake that Lolo Man capitalized on right there.
Yeah, this has been a pretty solid showing by Lolo Man. Ramplan has also had its good moments, so we'll have to see what can happen in this one.
Nice little push pushes. There, flipping yourself over on your opponent is an interesting strategy.
But they do manage to correct themselves, and almost stuck on that shelf there, and now getting pushed back to the back, and move to the back and chewed up by the screws and stuck in the back.
So yeah, those back screws do not reverse.
They do not reverse because we're too lazy to go get them, and it would disrupt the camera angle. They're stuck in the back.
And it doesn't look like they're going to get back.
Get out of that. Victory there for Lolo Man. Gotta say, very interesting fight, very tactical. We saw a few issues there by Ramplan. They got stuck upside down for a bit, were stuck on top. They had a few moments, but in the end, Lolo Man just had the more complete performance here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ramplan seemed to have some issues. I don't think they look as solid as they did last season.
Definitely not.
You know, when they made that decent run, but, you know, they could always bounce back. 0-2 start is never what you want, but they didn't look awful in their past fights, so they can definitely attempt to bounce back, and hopefully they can go 2-2 and maybe make the tournament.
Yeah, definitely not what they wanted. But for Lolo Man, 1-1, good recovery after that first loss. We'll see if they can keep it rolling, see what they can do in their next match.
Next match, we got a very similar bot to Ramplan. We got Breaker Box. Now, they didn't start out their season very well, but
did not.
They're hoping to bounce back here tonight, and that's the story of most bots here. I mean, that 0-1 start really puts a target on your back, and it really puts pressure on you to win this week And so this is an integral showing for BreakerBox here.
Definitely, because that loss, they went through double KO, they showed some good moments, but definitely not what they wanted. Same thing with Abomination, to be completely fair. They both lost those double knockouts. Abomination lost to Kraken, and this is another fight where they want to win. They need to get some good pushes, avoid those tracks, avoid getting flipped. Could be an interesting match between these two. Not sure where it's going to go.
Yeah, definitely. Another wedge fight. I think this one will be a little bit more high action. Abomination is always just very aggressive towards its opponents. So we'll see how it deals with the hinged wedge, not hinged, but mobile wedge of BreakerBox.
Let's go down and see how this one plays out. Once again, desperate times for both of these bots. 0-1, a loss here would be very detrimental to their hopes, and we're seeing some good pushes already.
Nice push along the back.
Good pushes right now. Abomination really getting behind and getting some good rams. Great start, but here comes, a good attack there from BreakerBox.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, both of these robots, you can kind of tell that they're desperate for this win. They really want it. They really want to keep those postseason hopes alive. And it seems like Abomination not really having any trouble getting under BreakerBox, but there's a nice sequence by BreakerBox to shut me up.
We're showing seeing the tactic that BreakerBox is trying to pursue, get around the Vev wedge and get to those treads. Take off the treads, win the fight. There's a good push there. Very good recovery move there. BreakerBox using that good hinged wedge to get a good flip, but in the end, already being retaliated back against.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, BreakerBox, when their wedge is not in the downward position, they're just really, really vulnerable. So that's something Abomination needs to keep capitalizing on. And already by the pit.
And they're stuck by the pit.
Are they going to go in?
And
yeah, they are.
They were stuck by the pit, couldn't get free. Abomination, great job realizing the situation and knowing exactly what they needed to do. That pit button, press it easy. It's better this season, more reliable. Pressed it once, down they go.
Yeah, definitely some heads-up driving there from Abomination to just back off and open up the pit. Just let BreakerBox kind of knock themselves out. Don't even risk, trying to knock them in the pit.
Yeah, exactly. A very good performance there for Abomination. BreakerBox had their moments, but another robot falling to 0-2, and their season in a dire spot. But good showing for Abomination. Have to see how they can do in the next match.
Yeah, definitely 1-1 start. I'm sure they feel better.
Yep, good recovery. Now we're getting to Ice Wave. We basically completely roasted everything about its drive, and it kind of proved wrong in that matchup against Complete Control. The drive did what it needed to do. Weapon was pretty powerful, and they're up against Seizure, who just got completely embarrassed by Hive Smashing. So this could be a win. This could be a win for them if Seizure isn't ready.
I mean, Hive Smashing looks very impressive, so the Seizure's loss isn't too horrible, but they definitely want to take a win here against Ice Wave. Ice Wave did technically beat a champion, but it is Complete Control, so both of these robots have something to prove in this match. We really need like a baseline to see how good they are. Seizure obviously a very hard fight. Abomination had a very easy fight. So we're going to have to see how these robots play out against each other and which robot can take home the W.
Definitely. Let's go down the box, see what happens. Could we see Ice Wave improve to 2-0?
We could.
That is a possibility. Go down to the match, and away we go. Both of those spinners spinning up. These are two interesting spinners. They're both not really much like them in this competition. Ice Wave, of course, with that engine on top. No electronics in the engine. It's
just there to look cool.
It looks cool. That's the point of this. And we're seeing some good hits, but maybe not impressive hits, but they're hits.
Some solid hits. It seems like Ice Wave is getting better. The exchanges. Their weapon system looks pretty solid in this fight.
Yeah, they're definitely doing what they need to do. They're getting a few good pushes. Of course, there's no wedge really on Seizure. And there's a nice hit. And
knocking off that top of Seizure.
And that was not what Seizure wanted. That spinner flew off of them, banged into the wall, and went back and hit their own wheel. But it survived. Their wheels are still working.
But that doesn't seem like Ice Wave is working right now.
Ice Wave's broken too. It looks like we might be down to a push fight with Ice Wave and Seizure. Seizure does not have the wedge, and Ice Wave does. So Ice Wave in a good spot. But if they can push the pit, they can win this fight. Trying to get there, and their drive lets them down.
Yeah, that was definitely weird driving there by Ice Wave. They almost had that pit, and it would have just been an easy win for them, but now they have to continue pushing. I mean, they shouldn't have trouble with that wedge, but it's just That was weird driving by them.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see a little bit of issues, but with Seizure, you don't have a wedge. You have... I don't really know if you even have the drive advantage. Ice Wave has the wedge, so if they just get some good pushes, just take them into the pit and end this fight now. Don't let it last Don't let it last longer than it needs to.
But there we go, over in the corner. Trying Seizure get out of that, but no, they're not going to. And a nice little pit there by Ice Wave, and that's their second win via the pit.
Good victory there for Ice Wave. Well, they didn't look the most impressive, but they did land the damage to knock off that spinner. Mate, I don't really know if that was just Seizure sucking or if that was Ice Wave loosening it, but in the end, victory for Ice Wave.
Yeah, definitely. Drive left some to be desired on both of these robots. None of them look like championship contenders, but they can make some mid-season adjustments, now that we're halfway through the year on their fights. Maybe they can come back and surprise some people. We'll have to see how both of these robots adapt.
Now getting to this next match, we have the rematch of the Season 4 Championship. Enforcer, they have, ever since that Season 4 appearance, they've definitely looked like a very solid opponent, but they definitely are going to have a difficult matchup here against Behemoth. They have a very solid hammer. They won their last match against Lolo Man with some good tricky driving. This should be an interesting matchup for them.
Yeah, for sure. But against a bot like Behemoth, Behemoth is very tall in stature, and they did win the last one, so it's going to be interesting to see how Behemoth can deal with Enforcer.
Definitely. We'll have to see if Enforcer has changed their strategy after that last loss, or will they kind of pursue a similar tactic of avoiding that scoop, trying to land some good shots. But I think Behemoth might have a slight edge in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just with that wedge, I think it's just better than Enforcer. Behemoth is able to counter them really well. So Enforcer really needs to drive perfectly, land some good shots, but let's see how they do down in the box.
We go, can Enforcer avenge that loss in the championship, or will Behemoth get some good flips? And there's already a good start, good attack there near the screws.
Yeah, already Enforcer getting rolled around by Behemoth.
Another one, second flip of the match so far. We have a record of 7 flips this season by Bot of Italy. Looks like Behemoth trying to challenge that, but right now there's some good hammer shots there by Enforcer.
Yeah, some nice little hammer shots on the top. Again, Enforcer's hammer isn't really ever going to do much damage unless your electronics are exposed, but, just those little hits, they can just make a tiny difference on the judges' scorecard, which is what you want if you're Enforcer.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of driving issues, it seems, from Behemoth. A little bit squirrely, same with Enforcer. Just looking for the good opening, but there's a good attack.
Oh, and a nice flip.
Great flip there, but good self-righting. This is definitely the best we have seen Behemoth Scoop performing, because they've had issues with its power recent seasons, but it's definitely looking improved right now, and they definitely seem like the superior bot in this match.
Yeah, most definitely. Enforcer really needs to dial in and just get to the sides. They can't really afford to hit them straight on.
Yeah, and we're seeing another nice push down near that hit button. Behemoth trying to get another one in. Enforcer, they think they just have to try to recuperate, get a little bit of reorganization, but it seems like Behemoth seems a little bit stunned.
No, they're back. And a nice flip over on the shelf.
Another good flip there for Behemoth. That is number 4 on the day. And Enforcer really struggling now, trying to self-right themselves and being pushed back towards these screws. They're in trouble.
And flipped around. What an incredible showing so far by Behemoth's flipper and just their ability to drive. We really haven't seen Behemoth like this since Season 4.
Behemoth really dominating and near the side and
just flipped them right into the pit.
Great
showing.
Great showing there. That might be the best showing that Behemoth has had since that Season 4 championship run. They looked really dominant in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Season 5 and Season 6, they really had a poor showing. But I think if they can dial in here later in this season, I mean, they're 2-0 with a shaky win over Ripper, but then a great win right here over Enforcer. They can definitely make the tournament, and they can definitely make some noise if they perform like that every single night.
Yep, that was a perfect showing. 2-0. They're looking very solid so far. Another win could lock their tournament spot up, but we'll have to see. Enforcer 1-1, Behemoth 2-0. Now we have a highlighted match. What fun. Killer Crab against Complete Control. Complete Control got a few decent lifts, and Killer Crab got a few decent pushes. It was a match of two pretty different style robots, and it was pretty much exactly what I said. A few moments where Killer Crab got the pushes it needed, and a few moments where Complete Control got some good flips. But in the end, Complete Control had Killer Crab in a vulnerable position and pushed them in.
Complete Control won a fight.
It won a fight.
Holy!
It won a fight, but let's end that. Let's get to an actual good fight. Ocean Man. They won their first match against Warbird with relative ease.
Yeah, I mean, they looked very impressive against Warbird. With that metal spinner, I don't know if that's the direction they should take the bot. But against a bot like Loki, you really need to be 100% dialed in, because Loki looked very impressive last time we saw them. So this is going to be an interesting fight to see play out, and it's nice to see a rookie bot in the main event.
Definitely. Looking at Loki, they took down Top Bot, the number 2 seed last year, and they're looking to take down the King. And this is definitely going to be an interesting match. Loki's Claw. Once it gets a robot, you cannot get away. If it gets the bite it needs to, it's going to be rough for Ocean Man. But if Ocean Man can land a good shot and do some damage like Top Bot did to those grabbers, could be trouble for Loki.
I mean, Loki is a gauntlet of a schedule here. Last year's number 2 overall and last year's number 1 overall. We're going to have to see how they adapt here in the box, and it seems like Ocean Man is going with that metal spinner here in this fight. Let's see how they do.
Here we go. The matchup kicks off a battle between 2 different style robots. Can Ocean Man land the hits that it needs? Already a good shove there by Loki to get Ocean Man in those screws. A very fast-paced match.
A nice little shot there on the side, but wow, very quick both of these bots are.
Very fast-paced, and nice shot there.
What a shot.
Another shot to follow up, and that claw is now down, but they mistimed it. Going to be difficult for them to get that positioning. Ooh!
Hit opens. I mean, nobody even touched the button. It just kind of jostled from all these big hits. Already a very fast-paced fight, a very solid fight between these two competitors.
Very hectic between them, and
a nice shot on the side of that wheel.
Nice shot. Loki, though, not afraid. They've taken a little bit of damage, but they are still pursuing Ocean Man, trying to get them back in there.
I mean, Ocean Man is on the ropes. I think this is...
Uh-oh.
Are they going
in the pit? They have the claw in there.
They are in the pit. And that is going to be an upset victory for Loki.
What an champion is defeated.
What an incredible showing.
Great, dominant performance there. I think that was 8 straight wins for the defending champion Ocean Man dating back to last season. But Loki took some damage, was not phased, got the grab, got the win.
I mean, Ocean Man had some great shots in this fight. Again, like I said, that metal spinner doesn't seem to be as effective as their spinner was last season, but just some nice shots on the wheels, and Loki just able to kind of just compose themselves, get that grab that they knew that they needed, and as soon as they got it, they were right in the pit. That's all they needed.
All they were looking for, and that's what they got. Dominant win, the rookie 2-0, and one of the most impressive robots thus far this season.
So a quick little recap. We saw Abomination take down Breaker Box. We saw Behemoth in very impressive form, looking back to form that they were in Season 4. We saw 2 very sad robots beat each other up. We saw Slugfest to open the night, which saw Blindside on top. And of course, the King is overthrown. 8 straight wins means nothing now.
Yep, and now we look at the next episode, the debut of the double camera. We'll see Bung with its first main in-match debut. We'll see Topbot try to correct its season against Buzzkill. We'll see Krusty Grab try to land some more suplexes against Kraken. Quantum making its grand debut against Rusty. And in the main event, it's Hive Smashin' versus Hypershock, a battle of robots that are powerful and start with H.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting one. But until then, we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.